Welcome to Laugh and Learn. Today we're talking about relaxation, but not the fantasy version where you instantly melt into calm. No. We're talking about what relaxation actually means when your nervous system is overloaded. Your body is still holding energy, and just relax feels impossible. I'm joined today by Jennifer from My Holistic Self as we build on previous conversation about dysregulation. Relaxation. Let's explore what really helps. Stick around, everybody. Thank you. Well, how lucky are we that Jennifer from My Holistic Self has agreed to come back and continue our conversations for Laugh and Learn. I am thrilled. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Tarot Stash. Thank you. Also known as Gerald, or, I like this, Gerald of Tarot Stash. That amazing person over there is Jennifer from My Holistic Self.
Hello. Thanks so much for having me back.
We were chatting backstage or before we went live, how much we both enjoy these conversations.
Mm-hmm.
These are important conversations that sometimes can be challenging to have, especially when you're in the midst of a struggle. We're having these conversations, we're putting them out on the interwebs so people can find them when they need them. They can find them when they're curious. And we hope share them far and wide to help people find information that makes them go or helps them go, I hadn't thought about that. But so Jennifer is here. Please, all of her links are in the description below. So like and subscribe. It is free. In the description also is a link to a chart, which I will show you later, that she has on her blog. Please go consider looking at that. We are not going to deep dive into this chart because there's a lot. I mean, that's easily 3 or 4 shows.
Yes.
Seriously, easily. But what's really helpful is it's organized and readable. After the show, when the transcript gets added, I will add chapter headings in the description. When you come back, you can find just the specific areas you were looking for.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes.
I can put the link to the blog in the chat, and you guys can reference it because we will be talking about aspects that are on there without us having to necessarily deep dive into it.
I'll tell you what. How about if I do that? And you do yours so that you can get it. Yes, it's in your chat. And it is in my chat. Here we go. Since we are simulcasting.
There we go.
And Pamela Baxter is like, I can no longer negotiate these chats and comments. I'm sorry, I'll listen. And it's probably because you are in the vertical mode. But I'm thrilled that you are all here.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. I'm going to do one thing. And let's see if I can do that. Jennifer, would you tell everyone a little bit about yourself? Catch everybody up on the awesomeness of Jennifer.
Thanks. Yeah, okay, about me. So I am Jennifer, as Gerald said, from My Holistic Self Counseling. I am so many things, but by day, my day job is a is a registered psychotherapist, certified Canadian counselor, and intuitive life coach. And I like to bring together the spiritual with the mind and body and have a very holistic approach to wellness.
Hooray. Hence the name, My Holistic Self, perhaps?
That might be where that came from.
That might be where that came from. Pamela, I sent you a link to the horizontal show. We do have people who are showing up with us. Sarah is here. Nalani has joined us. Tanis is here also. And Bonzo has said, relax, but there's a tiger around every corner. I haven't actually seen him yet, but I just know he's there.
Mm.
And he's right behind you, Bonzo.
Aww.
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't scare her away either. Cheryl is joined us, and Plucky Heroine is here. And did I say Kaylee? Kaylee's here as well.
Mm-hmm.
Great to have everybody here.
Wonderful. Thank you all for being here.
As always, this is for entertainment purposes only. Do not make decisions based upon what we say. Seek professional assistance. Really. I bring this up every single time. I am not an expert. I am a curious person, which can lead me to a lot of enlightenment and a lot of trouble. And I like to have people come along. What's really important is the strongest people I know are the ones who can start to recognize when they are out of their element and they need to get somebody to help them get that professional advice.
Mm-hmm.
So and especially right now in this time period, there's so much stuff going on, so much energy, which is, we've talked about that before, the idea of dysregulation. The energy is hard to handle. It can be very challenging, especially for people who are very empathic, sensitive people. And this is a conversation based upon those previous conversations. It built up. So I'm just like, I only have 7 pages of notes today. Sorry to disappoint everybody. I am not going to
just 7.
Just 7. And because one of the things that we talked about last time, Jennifer, was the idea of activated freeze.
Mm-hmm.
And you beautifully describe for us activated freeze again, just to remind everybody.
Absolutely. We often talk about, fight, flight, freeze, fawn. Mm-hmm. And we don't recognize that sometimes the nervous system is actually operating in multiple facets of that. And so the way that I like to explain it is that you've got your foot on the gas and the brake at the same time, right? So it wants to go, the energy wants to move. There is this surge of energy that's happening within you, but there's also no capacity to move it. And so the system feels flooded with the input, but we're unable to process it.
Well said. That's a great description. That foot full on the brake, foot full on the gas. I've been there. I've been there recently. And I'm sure people in the chat or people watching the playback have experienced that, or they've witnessed people around them experiencing that.
Absolutely. And with everything that we've had going on, and I know we've talked about this in previous episodes, but with everything that's happening in the world, we have this influx of information, right? So, I mean, and you can look at it from, each kind of level, but emotionally, we're feeling everything that is happening within ourselves,
Mhm.
our families, our communities, the greater collective. Mentally, we're feeling that consciousness, the collective consciousness, as well as, again, right, each layer all the way through. And
Yes.
then, in the spiritual journey, we talk about like downloads and the energies and activations and all of that. So our systems are completely overloaded with
Mhm.
all of this information that we're receiving. And there is no capacity to integrate all of that. And so we end up in this activated freeze.
Yes.
And we have to figure out, how do I dissipate this?
Mhm. That is part of what we're going to be talking about today. More people have joined the chat. Rossi's here, Timmy, Jan, all of these people have come in. I imagining um, those people know at least one other person who might benefit from this conversation. Feel free to be pushy, or excuse me, to be assertive in showing your willingness to share this information. I would ask that if you share it with someone, tell them what you got out of it rather than just forwarding the link. That's something that I don't, people forward me stuff all the time. They don't tell me why they forwarded it to me.
Mm.
They don't do that. And so do give the video a thumbs up. Make sure that you are ready for that. What's really important is when we go, Timmy, it's like, assert your earth energy. Well, if it were just that easy, right? I mean,
Mhm.
this is one of those things. I'm going to be bouncing around a little bit. I have a feeling,
Yeah.
Jennifer. So help me with this. If you see me going wackadoodle, what a great word, right?
Wackadoodle. I think
Wackadoodle.
sometimes we're all a little wackadoodle.
Yes, yes, yes. Let's ask the question: what is relaxation really?
Mm.
And I think relaxation. There are lots of different techniques that are out there, and relaxation is it's lowered breathing, lower blood pressure, reduced heart rate. There's lots of things that can help with that. What do you want to add to that idea of what is relaxation?
Yeah, I think the first thing and what's really important to touch on here is that relaxation is the result, it's not the technique. We can have a ton of techniques that could lead us to relaxation, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they will or that they do.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the biggest misconceptions is that relaxation is a specific activity, right? Or that it's doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And, we shared a little bit about this before the show, but, one person takes a walk and they feel completely restored. Another person takes a walk and they spend the entire time ruminating. The activity is the same, but what happens, the outcome, the result is different because the nervous system's response to what was happening is different. The person who went for the walk and was able to dissipate the energy and able to allow themselves to rest in the process, they're going to feel relaxation. The
Mm-hmm.
other person, if they're still in a place of nervous system activation, they actually may feel more anxious by the time they are done that activity.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Jan had said, and some people take a walk and end up in horrifying pain.
Mm.
Mhm. That is one of the things we will talk a lot about, or we will reference. You need to, excuse me, I always find it when people say you need to. I encourage you to pay attention to how your body responds to the different things we're talking about.
Absolutely.
If you were to ask me 8 months ago if I would enjoy walking 30 minutes a day, I would have told you to go, you know, yeah, because I would have said no. Now I'm finding that, and it's been a build up of time. It's not, I'm going to start running a marathon at all.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, and your body may not relax. Like if your body is in a ton of pain, that's not going to help you, right? So relaxation isn't what you're doing, it's what your system is experiencing while you're doing it.
I
And
like that.
yeah, so if we really break it down, right? And you know, I'm not a definition maker of things, but I really think that relaxation is the experience of enough safety, capacity, and regulation that the body no longer needs to mobilize for danger, right? It doesn't have to brace itself against was it the tiger or the lion that was around the corner,
Yes.
right? It's its ability to be in the state that you're free from physical and mental tension, right? Not
Mhm.
not that it's never there, but that it's not controlling the situation. It's not taking over the situation.
Nicely said. Um, according to the NCCIH's definition, we'll put it in English, relaxation techniques help bring about the body's relaxation response,
Mm.
the opposite of the stress response, which basically means relaxation is not pretending nothing is wrong. It is helping the body shift out of constant alert.
Yeah,
It's like, yes,
yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
Hmm. And
Absolutely.
well, and then this also goes to that next question: what relaxation is not, or
Mhm.
what isn't relaxation? And
Yeah. And it's not the absence of activity, right? A lot of people think, oh, well, I'm going to relax. So I'm going to, make sure there's nothing going on in my brain, make sure my body's just going to sit and vegetate. Oh, I'm so relaxed. Like that's not
yes,
relaxation.
hmm, because that's not what your body needs to get out of that constant alert.
Absolutely. I mean, some people, want to do activities, and I think it's very valuable for us to do activities, right? Somebody could be gardening. We've talked about walking. You've talked about crafts, right? Woodworking, painting, knitting, all those things. Some people
Yes.
like to bake. I know there's someone here that do. And having meaningful conversations can be profoundly relaxing.
Hmm. I agree with you. Silky Jan has said, I've really come to a place in my life where I'm not that stressed, even about things that used to stress me out.
Awesome.
Mhm. And Nalani was saying, you do you. And the great
Mm.
thing about that, though, it gives us an opportunity to practice various things to help us
Mhm.
get into a state of relaxation.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about all of these things that you said. I'm going to put this beautiful little chart up that Jennifer has created. And this beautiful chart, let me get there. You can see it has a variety of things. Across the top, it has relaxation, rest, recovery, discharge, shutdown, and collapse.
Mhm.
I love this is, it's the idea of understanding different nervous system states because you got to know what's going on to pick the correct tool for what's going on for you.
Yeah.
And not all doing less is the same. It can look the similar on the outside, but it's very different on the inside.
Yep.
We're going to talk about all of these. We're not going to dive too deeply into those. I do want to point out, by the way, this is available on Jennifer's website, her blog. It is linked in the description. That's the thing I would definitely share far and wide. People need to see this. People totally need to see this. And from there, let me get back to this because I want to point out this beautiful stuff here. And it's before asking, this is at the very bottom, before asking, how do I relax? Ask, what does my nervous system need next? Relaxation is the result, not the first step. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. Relaxation is the result, not the first step. Would you like to say anything else about this chart before I make it go so that people can see us?
Sure. I loved what, you were saying about how something can look the same on the outside, but internally it's completely different. So you think about somebody who is sitting on the sofa watching a show.
Mm-hmm.
If they are relaxing, their nervous system is not activated. They are able to be calm. They have access to energy. They're able to really be present and in the moment. If they're resting, they may or may not have access to the same energy, but they're able to reduce their effort. That doesn't mean that they're relaxed. That doesn't mean that their nervous system is calm. It means that physically they are not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And we go through the whole list and look at the way that these different things shut down, from shutdown, collapse, discharge, recovery. We can look at what is actually happening inside of us, so that the idea of, okay, I'm just going to go sit on the sofa, I can actually check in with myself and go, what is actually happening in my body right now?
Uh-huh.
What is it that I really need? And I think we're going to get into this a little bit later too, but for all of you who are highly sensitive and empathic and all of that, taking in TV shows, news, media, I know we've talked about it before, that is not relaxing, and that's not going to help you to rest, and it will not help with recovery. It will not help with discharge, right? And so just noticing those things can help us to avoid the shutdown and collapse if we're giving ourselves the time that we need to actually have the discharge, recovery, rest, and then gaining that relaxation.
That's beautifully said. I always try to think about this from a perspective of, I'm going to put us back here, from the perspective of, I have to check in with myself first to figure out what's going on. I especially know if somebody tells me to calm down or to just relax, and my response is like, I know that's not going to help. For some of you may know, I have diabetes. Sometimes when I have a low blood sugar, I start to lose my crap for no reason, and my logical ability lessens. And I've told people, if you ask me if I'm having a low blood sugar and I yell at you and I come flashing out, the answer is yes, I'm having a low blood sugar. Help me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the flight or the fight response as part of the thing. And it's an interesting thing to, when we know what our body does, we can go, okay, this is, I'm sitting on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
I now have checked in, and if I sit here and watch this mindless television, it's not going to help me do anything with it. So I'm going to turn that off. And then I'm going to go do something that will help me. And so that was Gerald on the soapbox. And
No, it's a fantastic soapbox because you're bang on. And it's so important for us, one, to own what's happening inside of us. Right. I mean, even in the comments, some people were going like about the hangry. I get hangry too. You can
yes,
ask my partner. It's like, where's the food, man? I'm hungry.
yes,
And
yes.
so, if we know what is going on inside of us too, I think that often, even if we are in that kind of energy, it it allows the space for it because the other person can go, oh, I understand what's happening too. I'm not going to take this personally. And they're
Yes.
going to be able to show up for us in ways that they wouldn't if we weren't able to communicate what was happening.
Are you talking about that idea of getting support and being, and trying to give yourself an opportunity when you get back to regulation to work on understanding dysregulation? Look at
Absolutely.
that. Previous shows are in the description.
We're wrapping it all together.
Well, and this is really very important. This can be can be a very complicated subject. What's really important is we allow it to be what it is, but we take off small bits at a time. More people have come in. Sun Psychic Jean has arrived. We have Medium Betsy Palmer, and Sherry has arrived. Angela Cardomancy Mesquite. It's great to see everybody here. Thank you very, very much for being here.
Mm-hmm.
There are things that we've talked about, grounding and meditation and shielding, that can be part of an overall well-being aspect.
Yeah.
So it's perfect. And so I tell my friends and family when I'm running on two cylinders and therefore not user-friendly.
Yep. I like that.
Yeah. It's, well, and you and I've talked about this. First thing you have to do is notice.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to notice.
Clients often will, come in to therapy and be like, okay, where do we start? And like, the first thing is awareness. What are you observing? What are you noticing? Right? Because until we notice it, we don't have the ability to do anything with it. But the moment we notice it, we can change it. We can do something about it.
Correct.
We can accept it and let it be what it is. That's also an option, right? But at least then we have choice. And in choice, we have empowerment.
It's like that with magic. If you can name something, you can then control it and understand it,
Mm-hmm.
which is an important thing. What is it? You have to fully understand it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this first thing, is the idea of relaxation.
Mm-hmm.
Relaxation, the first thing on the chart. What's happening?
Absolutely. So when we look at relaxation, one of the biggest things that we want to do is notice what actually happens, right? What are the characteristics around relaxation? So when we're relaxed, the body softens. I noticed a comment in there about like releasing the ears from the shoulders, right? There is that piece of, okay, the body softens, the breath is going to become easier. Our awareness is going to allow us to stay in the present, and we do have energy available. Doesn't just because we're not using it doesn't mean it's not there for us, right? So we are able to engage if needed. And I think that's one of the biggest differences is that, people think, okay, relaxation, I'm going to completely unplug, disconnect, shut everything down. But relaxation is actually a state of social engagement. So it is a state, it's that ventral vagal state where our bodies are ready. We are in that place where we can act if we need to. We can step into conversation. We can do something if necessary, but we also are in a place where the body knows that we're safe.
Mm-hmm. That some examples of that from your lovely chart which is linked in the description, include sitting on the porch watching the sunset. You are present, you're aware, and you're at ease.
Yeah.
I'm sure people could express what that is like. I think Nalani said playing the flute can sometimes it feels very relaxing, and other times it does not.
Yeah. So again, it's not the activity, it's the nervous system state that you are in or
Correct.
not in.
Correct. The other thing that we have here is the next thing on that list is the idea of rest.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about rest. What's happening for us in rest?
Yeah. Rest is simply the reduction of effort or demand. If I'm resting, my body maybe isn't doing anything. There's less output happening. I may not have any demands that are put on me. And I have an opportunity to do some of the other things that are on that chart.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean that I'm relaxed.
That's an important distinction. Sometimes the rest for me is getting up from my computer, going to the bathroom, refilling my water, taking the garbage out because I've needed to rest from this focused area.
Absolutely. And you're having that moment where there is, less demand or effort. But, somebody who's lying on the sofa could be lying on the sofa worrying about the meeting they had earlier today. And did they say the right thing or did they not say the right thing? And how was it perceived? And what's going to happen next? Or the one that they're going into tomorrow? And what am I going to do? And how am I going to show up? And what's they going to think of me? And all the things, right? If the mind is ruminating, the body is resting, but the nervous system is still completely activated.
Nicely said. Thinking about the idea of rest, I like how you put in this useful phrase, I have stopped doing. That's rest. I've stopped doing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move to recovery. What's happening with recovery?
So recovery is all about replenishing our resources.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone and done an activity. There's been some kind of expenditure. And I say activity, but that could be a mental expenditure. It could be a physical expenditure. It could be an emotional expenditure.
Yes.
Recovery requires rest and we want to get to relaxation, but we don't always get there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So recovery is all about rebuilding our energy. So we're repairing. You think about if you go and work out, you need some recovery time for those muscles that got torn to heal.
Mm-hmm.
If we had an emotional strain, we need that same kind of time in order for us to heal emotionally so that we can restore capacity. And so recovery is one of those things that happens over time. So if you've been sick, if you've been caregiving, I know that that's come up a lot lately of people that are caregiving for others. And, we're dealing with emotional upheaval in the world, but also in families, in our friendships, maybe even in work situations or other places, that there's intense experiences, then our system needs to rebuild from that. That's what the recovery process is about.
Recovery, it's like recharging your battery. And you can do that super quick charge on some fancy phones, or you can allow it to charge overnight. They both have a result of being fully charged. The way you get there can have an impact on long term. Yeah. We've talked about the idea of the importance of we have to rebuild our resources. We have to fully recover we have to charge to 100%. Then we know, then our body knows what 100% looks like. Instead of
Absolutely.
thinking over 6 months of recharging to just 70%, thinking, oh, well, I'm 70% charged, I'm okay. No, you're not.
No.
Yes.
And as we know with batteries, over time, they do stop charging. And if they're not fully discharged, which brings us to the next one,
Yes.
then what happens is, and this was what you were talking about when we were talking about baseline in our previous show, right? If we don't completely discharge the activation, right, then we don't have that ability to hit that baseline again. So we're not actually releasing the tension.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, then let's talk about discharge. And discharge, I think when I think of discharge, I remember back in the day, I'm old, and when we could actually replace RAM in the computers, you could follow the instructions to do that. Part of the challenge is you had to make sure that you released all of the static electricity
Mm,
around you so this didn't fry the system. I just that visual, that shock is a core memory that I have. So,
yeah, it's fantastic when we can have a memory that brings it to life for us.
yes. Oh, definitely. Yes.
Hmm.
So discharge, it's the release of activation that was mobilized but not fully completed.
Hmm.
Say a little bit more about that for us.
Yeah. So let's say you're driving to work and buddy comes along and cuts you off. There's an activation that happens. In that moment, there's a fear of, oh my goodness, I'm going to get hit.
Mm-hmm.
There's maybe some anger around it if you've got some rage going on, right? But there's all this activation that happens. And then you turn off and you're going down the road and an animal runs out into the road.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, activation, right? It's in the system. And the discharge is the ability to get it to be gone. But then let's say you arrive at work and, oh my goodness, I'm 5 minutes late. I've got to get into that meeting.
Yes.
Right? So there's this activation that has been mobilized in the body. The body has been put on alert and it's feeling all of that. And because we didn't give ourselves a chance to have it come to completion, right? What ends up happening is that we have to figure out how to discharge that energy. We have to release the tension so that the movement that's stored as activation is able to release from our system. And if we don't have that discharge, we're not going to be able to recharge properly, right? We're
Yes.
not going to be able to have that recovery. It's going to be really hard to rest. It's going to be hard to allow ourselves to calm so that we're not going to get to that place of relaxation,
Mm-hmm.
right? So,
Yes.
a lot of people talk about crying, right? Crying as a form of releasing the emotional energy. I
Mm-hmm.
like to shake things out. We'll do some work and sessions, and I'm like, just shake that out, right? Release it however you need to, dancing, movement, sighing, that deep breath work, allowing your body to laugh is a
Yes.
beautiful way of discharging energy.
Mm-hmm.
Walking off the frustration. I remember, when I used to work in a building with many stories, I would go and just run up and down the stairs if I needed to discharge that energy.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of different tools, and so many of the things that we talk about for relaxation are also tools that we can use for discharge in order to be able to
I see.
release a lot of that energy, and then also for recovery, for building that back up.
That idea of discharge, it's about allowing the energy to move through.
Yeah,
It's just giving it a place to go instead of trying to contain it when it needs to flow naturally.
absolutely. And this is why, when you talk about, saying to somebody, "Oh, just relax." We're not in a place to relax, if we have to discharge, like we're in a completely different state, our nervous system needs something entirely different. And that alone can be very activating because our nervous system knows, right? When somebody says, "Oh, just relax," our nervous system's going, "Are you kidding me? That is not what I need right now. What I need right now is to get this energy out."
I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because there are people who, when they say, go ahead, just relax, their intention is to be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
They're not aware you can't relax, because that's not the first thing that needs to happen.
No.
What might be something else a person could say to help somebody before we move on to shutdown and collapse?
Yeah. On that, when you were saying about, they might be meaning to be helpful, and I think that that is absolutely true, that somebody could be intentionally trying to be helpful. At the same time, how many of us, because we're highly sensitive, when somebody else is activated, are going, relax, relax, because we don't like the feeling of
Very
that
astute.
energy in our system. Right?
Mhm.
So just noticing that that's a possibility too. And so instead of saying, just relax, it might be, what do you need in this moment? Would it help if I breathe with you? Can I give
Mhm.
you a hug? Do you want to
Yes.
go for a walk?
Mhm.
Any of those things that allow us a moment to break up the energy in some way, then we can maybe know what we need. Right?
Mhm.
'Cause sometimes we don't even know what we need.
Oh, and saying that I don't know what I need is an important first step, because you saying it out loud goes, I don't know what I need, and somebody give me some options and then I can consider it.
Mm.
Very powerful.
Yeah. But most of the time, if somebody is in a state that would facilitate somebody else saying, just relax, chances are they actually need discharge.
Okay. Okay. It takes me back. Oh, by the way, hello, John Clark. It's good to see you. It takes me back when the children's librarians would help adult librarians understand how to work with kids on their school projects. Because back in the day, before the interwebs, kids would come to school with a piece of paper with an assignment. Then they'd have to talk to somebody behind a big desk, somebody they didn't know, and they needed help. The children's librarians, and I did this with adults, would say, if the kid's having a hard time articulating what it is they need, step away from the desk and have them walk with you, and it helps discharge the nervousness of talking to somebody behind a big desk. I love that.
I
It's
love that too.
it's so good. And a lot of times I will say to somebody, in a moment, I will say, you know what, I need a drink of water, do you mind coming with me?
Mhm.
So if we're ever in a physical place and you're needing some discharge, and I go, come with me to get a drink of water, it's a code.
You'll know what Gerald's getting at.
Yes, yes. And John is sharing stuff in the chat. And John, I'm hoping that this information will be helpful for you, especially with you. You can go, all right, what do my nervous system needs? It's because we're in such intense times, a lot of choices, a lot of quick decisions having to be made. It's incredibly painful.
Mhm.
After discharge comes shutdown.
Yeah.
And tell us about shutdown.
So, shutdown is a protective mechanism from the nervous system. So it's there to reduce engagement so that we can conserve our resources, right? Minimize the perceived threat. So from the outside, shutdown could look like relaxation, but internally we might be numb, we might be feeling brain fog. There could be some like, just disconnection that's happening.
Mhm.
This is where motivation begins to go away.
Mhm.
We may feel emotionally flat, right? That low energy happens often in shutdown because the nervous system is going, I have to keep us safe. So I'm going to shut down the stimulation or the ability for the system to take in that stimulation in order to preserve the little bit I have left.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, it's removing all of the unnecessary energy drains. It's like, okay, we're going to be focused on this. Um, one thing that I think this can be really for people who are empaths or sensitive people. This shutdown sometimes can sneak up on us, especially after we have been around a lot of people and we have been battling it. We've been just knocking things down, and we've lost the boundary of understanding what's my energy and what's theirs. Because before shutdown, that gets very foggy, and I start to assume everything is mine, and my body won't be able to handle that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe this like could be a whole other show when I look at the time, but this idea of really recognizing that there is specifically for empaths and highly sensitive people, that when we are highly sensitive, trying to relax while continuing to absorb stimulation will never work,
Mm,
right? So I could say I'm resting. Maybe I'm laying on the couch, like my body's resting. But I'm in shutdown, and I'm in shutdown because I'm still scrolling social media. I'm still checking updates. I'm still responding to text. Maybe
mhm.
I'm still checking in and making sure all of the family's okay. I'm still doing things, and my nervous system is still absorbing stimulation.
Yes.
It's not able to get the break that it needs. And so, if we're not in a space where we are able to actually reduce the incoming information, we're not going to be able to go through the other steps. We're not going to be able to discharge. We're not going to be able to get our body to a place where we have gotten rid of the stimulation enough so that we can even enter recovery,
Mhm.
right? Shutdown is there as a protective mechanism, but if we're continually feeding the nervous system things that activate it, we are heading towards collapse. We're not moving ourselves to a place of being able to
Yes.
discharge.
And the idea is that we recognize where we are so we have the opportunity to do the things that our system needs. Let's talk about collapse.
Mhm.
Collapse is that, I mean, we're the system's pulling the plug. Nope, we're not doing nothing.
Yeah, this is where the nervous system is so overwhelmed. Activation and the capacity to do anything has been completely exceeded,
Mm-hmm.
right? So remember we were talking about that activated, um, like this is almost activated collapse, if you will. Like
Uh,
here we are where, the activation is still pressing that gas pedal. The shutdown is pushing the brake, and eventually the car seizes. It can't go. The engine is done, right? And
yeah.
now there's collapse. The whole system essentially is going, nope, I can't do this anymore. And we're done,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we were in that activation with that freeze. we're trying to maintain, and eventually the system just can't handle it.
Mhm. The idea of a car seizing is a really important one. I think about this in the sense of you want to, well, for entertainment purposes only, you're going to get professional assistance when this happens. It's very challenging for family and friends to do this and to help and to help it. I do also think about this is I think about this it's like the force quit on a computer. When a program's not running, it's not running and you have to force quit it.
Hmm.
um, I want
Yeah,
to
it's
put
trying and trying, but
Yeah, it's trying and you've waited, you've walked away. I want to put John's comment up here because I think this is an important thing.
Mhm.
The big concern is one of my friends is this all resulting in either nervous breakdown or a heart attack. Whew,
Yeah.
that's a lot. And that can be how it shows up. There's that idea of we have to learn how to take care of ourselves, how to rest and have recovery, or the body will tell us that's exactly what we have to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. And from a completely metaphysical standpoint, with illness being so deeply connected to our nervous system, that's on the science side and on the metaphysical side, right? But different aspects here of, when we've been doing too much and we know we need a break, we know we need to take a break, we should take a day off, take that mental health day, and we don't, and all of a sudden we're sick,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
The body has been giving the signal over and over again, and we're pushing and pushing anyway,
Mhm.
and we're going to be forced into shutdown.
Yes.
And, to Gerald, what you were saying, it's so important to seek help, but I would say seek it before, seek it when you know you're going into shutdown, before you ever get to collapse,
Mhm.
right? Because we don't want to have those situations where we have a breakdown or, God forbid, a heart attack or something like that, because we are just refusing to listen to what our body needs.
Mhm. Yes. Yes. Um, John did share that he has been a long distance runner since 2003, regularly training 4 days a week. And because of the stress in the last 3 years, he has very little time to do that running. And
Mm,
I'm sorry to hear that. It's just because, and he hasn't felt up to it.
yeah.
um, and you do have to you have to rebuild that as you can and slowly. It's not going to be a one and done.
No. No, and you're mentioning too about, friends. And I think that this is an important piece, and not to say that you don't have your own things going on, because I'm sure that you do. But we have to be very mindful about that idea of supporting, not saving. Because if we are in a position where we are able to help or support somebody else, that's wonderful. And I'm obviously like, yes, we want to do that, but not to the extent that we've drained ourselves so much that we no longer have capacity,
Mhm.
right? And this is where I go and I give that support. I come back and I make sure I have moments of discharge. I have to release all the things I picked up while I was there giving that support.
Yes.
I have to allow myself opportunities to be in recovery, to recharge that battery, to allow myself to, not specifically physically rest, but to be able to allow my nervous system to come back to regulation.
Yes.
And then at that point, if I can access relaxation in whatever means that is for me, and maybe that's going for a run, right? If that allows the system to discharge and to feel like it's releasing all the stuff from the day, that may be the very first step for you in moving towards relaxation. And so being able to come back from that and go, even if I've got 5 minutes, I'm going to go sprint up and down the street. Right? And I'm going to come back in. But it's choosing something for yourself to allow for that discharge of energy that also may aid in recovery.
Mhm. That's, yes. I think it's also important to, I keep going back to that idea is it's just the idea of relaxation. It's the result, not the first step.
Yeah.
We have to do that real check-in to understand what's going on with our nervous system. And the nervous system, it can be elusive, it can be overwhelming. Hi, my name is Gerald. The nervous system can be overwhelming to me. And it's so important to even just to try some of these things, because this chart actually has, there are examples and useful phrases. Sometimes those phrases can be the thing that makes you go, oh, yeah, that's what it is. Or no, it's not like that. Or some variation of those. And because, the idea of collapse, your phrase here, useful phrase is, the system has run out of available resources. And it's a key thing. This chart, again, I'm going to put this up here. This chart is available in the show notes. It's on Jennifer's blog. I sent Jennifer, oh, here's the show prep. Here's what I'm thinking of. What does Jennifer do? Jennifer says, well, here, Gerald, here's this chart. And I'm like going, I love this. I love this chart. I think it's extremely useful. And it also, I want to show you, see if I can enlarge it at the bottom. See if I can make it bigger. What your system may need next down here. What a very powerful thing. And it's like, if we have rest, what your system may need next is rest plus nourishment, connection, and ease. I mean, I don't know about you, but I like an easy next step.
Absolutely.
I am super, super lazy. Hi, my name's Gerald. I went the easiest route.
Yeah. But Laura had asked, about the shutdown piece. Like, what do I do? How do I, listen before I get there? And this is a great tool to use for that. So if you recognize, okay, what this feels like right now, I'm feeling numb, I'm feeling foggy. Well, I recognize that that's in shutdown. So I can notice that before I hit collapse. I can go, okay, what does my system need next? Well, I need gentle re-engagement. I need safety. I need support. I need routine. I need small steps. Maybe I need to take some time away from some social media stuff or news or, and when I say social media, I mean like the constant scrolling that we do, right? That doesn't necessarily feed us. So if we can recognize what these things feel like, and as Gerald said, use the phrases, right? My system has pulled the the emergency brake. Okay. I recognize that that's happening. So what do I need? And because there are times where we're so in it, we don't know, it's nice to have a tool that allows us to notice. And so even using this tool as a journaling prompt, so that you can do this for yourself, right? This is kind of an overview, but because each of our systems are a little bit different, one of us might need one thing and somebody else might need something slightly different. And that is all okay. But if you use these, the framework of this, then you can sit down and go, okay, what are my signs? What does this actually feel like in my system? What are the things I notice? What has helped me get out of this before?
Mhm. And what has helped you get out of it before may not get you out of it this time. It may point you in a direction that could help support you and meet you where you are.
Mhm.
I have a feeling we're going to end up needing to do a part 2 to this because I still have 2 pages of documents to go through.
Absolutely. I think so too. And I do want to touch on or even, dive into like the empath's kind of trap around this and how
Yes.
we get very, we talk about that hypervigilance that happens in
Mhm.
the nervous system. And I think that that's kind of a natural continuation of this in order to really learn how to move through these energies in a way that feels sustainable and supportive.
Yes. Jennifer, this has been incredible. Thank you for everyone who is
Mhm.
watching.
Thank you.
Jennifer and I will figure out a time when we can do part 2. I am on later today with Jennifer and Tanis from My Holistic, well, you're from My Holistic Self, but Twillo Lifestyle Community. And we're going to be having ongoing conversations. We have honest conversations. So, and I do want to perhaps end with what John says. My friend's approach is what I would call little victories approach, taking
Mhm.
small wins over massive ones and celebrating each little win and using it as building blocks.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
You're welcome, John. It's we appreciate everybody being here. That idea of small wins is so important because every journey starts with a single step, and you do a journey by taking a step and another step and another step. Those steps aren't always easy. What's important is that we continue to move,
Yeah.
because when we're stagnant, I think Nalani mentioned something that her sister reminds her of a shark because she's always moving. With that, sharks have to move or they die. Uh, um, and so I think this idea of is this keep small movement is still movement.
Absolutely.
It's still movement, everybody. And I thank you, everybody, for being here. We've touched the surface about relaxation and that activated freeze.
Mhm.
And I am curious if people have other phrases that activate them. Just relax or calm down. Oh yeah, right. I am totally going to calm down after you tell me to calm down. And it's like,
Mhm.
and please remember, this is not a one size fits all. Consider this a roadmap to help you go, I could try this, I could try this. And here's the key thing about trying: if it doesn't work, you still tried something, you did something.
Mhm.
John, I'm glad you were here for this. I'm glad
Yes,
you were here for this.
absolutely.
And yes, I get the reference. Everything counts in small amounts. Thank you, Depeche.
Yeah, and
Jennifer,
it's
yeah, go ahead.
oh, yeah, I know we're at time, but it's such a beautiful thing to be able to be in a space where we can honor the tiniest of wins. I know that you've done a lot with the whole glimmer globe and all of
Mhm.
that, and finding something that brings us joy, that lights us up, that holds that space, gives us the ability to shift through these energies, to allow
Mhm.
our nervous system to just change that focus. We see something and it makes us laugh, we've just gotten a deeper breath. Something has shifted in our system. We see
Mhm.
something and it makes us smile and we go, ah, right? We're calming the system with each tiny little shift of energy. So every time that we notice something that we're proud of or that brings us joy or any of those things, it allows for us to be in a space where we are actually already starting to regulate our system.
It's beautiful. Thank you, Betsy. I'm glad you made that. I'm glad you were here. Again, everyone, thank you. Please, I look forward to having our next conversation. Also, remember, in a world where you could be anything, be kind, including
Mhm.
being kind to yourself. Take care. Bye.